G'day guys, it's Mary here from Country Outdoors. I am so excited because this week I'm starting to share a 3-part special from the NWTF Convention. I'm going to be sharing stories from different people across music, outdoor entertainment, and television. Different stories on the show floor, people who performed, people who came and chatted about different things going on. And on this week's episode, we have Michael Ray, Sam Soholt, and Ben O'Brien. The Buffalo River Project, we have Mo Pitney, Hunter Girl, and William Toll. Whole bunch of different stories, different people, different faces. So settle in, get yourselves a snack, and welcome to Country Outdoors Podcast. And wherever you're watching from, we would so appreciate if you could please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your mates. Thanks for watching.
G'day mates, it's your host Mary O'Neill Phillips and you are listening to Country Outdoors Podcast.
Thought everybody had peace of mind in a piece of land. I didn't know I was country. Thank God I am.
And we are back at NWTF. I'm here with Michael Ray. Michael was on Country Outdoors Podcast earlier this year. Or, well, I guess it was last year now, was it? Gosh, was it last year? Wow.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, right before Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Literally the day before. We're like texting about like photos and stuff, hunting stuff, and then all of a sudden it was like, did you just see what I was out doing the Joe Diffie golf tournament, and then like right when it was wrapping up, that video, like
It was the day after because I was driving home from the airport and I stopped. I heard it on the radio and I stopped. And then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh.
well, my phone had died like on the golf courses, so like we got through, you know, the scramble golf tournaments. They do like the your car is parked outside, your lights are still
Yeah. Zach Phillips.
Zach Phillips, you can't hunt turkeys in the front yard of the Opry.
This is not the one.
Leave the geese alone.
There's a naked man running on the lawn.
But I got back and charged my phone. All of a sudden, it was like all these text messages, and then it was like, I got buddies of mine that are military, and we do a lot of work.
Yeah.
You've been a part of too. Raising money for veterans and stuff. So started getting all these text messages, and then the link of the video. And I'm like, what happened? Everybody's just like, did you see what happened to Charlie? Did you see what happened to Charlie? And you just kind of, sadly, we're in that time of the world, I guess, where like if you see that and it's somebody of that level, something has obviously tragically happened. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
I just didn't think it was that. But yeah, it was crazy.
No, like there's something really, really sinister about that happening so that we all see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like a bizarre thing. I think we're living in a total spiritual battle right now.
Yeah, I think people are seeing now it's good and evil. You know what I mean?
Sure, rather than that's what I was saying, rather than left and right, it's now like it's actually just good and evil, and it's on every side. Like,
and there's this like weird thing about this year being, I don't know, Adrena told me this, a year of the snake where it's like shedding, and like leading into the year, I'm like, okay, kind of just going along with it. But I swear to you, it's like, I mean, especially if you just look at what's going on with everything, it's like Jesus has showed himself more now than ever to everybody, like very present. And everything is coming out. Yeah. Like stuff like that. I mean, it's like literally watching a movie. Like,
for sure.
The news is like watching a movie.
For sure.
It's the weirdest, it's the craziest thing.
I feel like it feels like the veil between like the spiritual world and the human world is like so thin now.
Yeah.
And you can just feel it. And if you've got any discernment, you're just like, you feel it everywhere constantly.
There's a lot of push and pull with the Holy Spirit. You feel it going on, which I just wish I wish our generation wasn't the generation where everything had to change during our lives. You know, if you look back,
We're millennials.
We've everything that, first off, the fact that we're celebrating 40 years and it started in the 80s.
I know. Yeah. I know.
Makes me feel a little not youthful, but
we're getting up there now, Michael.
Speak for yourself. It's like everything in our life was changed. It's like drastic change. Like it was like CDs to streaming. Movies to streaming. Everything like what we grew up with is not even a thing.
Year 2000, when we thought we were all going to die and people were standing on the top of buildings.
We had it.
Hi, aliens.
Yeah. I remember sitting at my great grandma's house, her little yellow brick or block house is still sitting there. And everybody in my family, like I'm pretty sure my grandpa had all the canned goods, gasoline, everything, and like my family is like, they're just country boys. They're just country people. They're always prepared. You know what I mean? Just in case. But I was like, oh, they're getting prepared a little too much. And maybe, I'm like 11 years old or whatever at the time. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, like hits in Japan and their lights are still on. And then it hits in Australia or wherever else, that's ahead of us. And I'm like, everything seems fine over there. I don't know if.
I feel like there was a lot of money wasted on this event.
I think our gasoline companies were behind Y2K.
But millennials as well. I have this conversation all the time. So I've just launched. In 3 weeks, I'm launching it, but I soft launched today my swimwear brand with
Nice.
Sydney Wells, and we've created our own camouflage pattern and have a big billboard on the Nashville sign this week.
Let's go.
But we were talking yesterday about songs to put under our post, and I was like, what about Natasha Bedingfield, The Rest Is Still Unwritten? And she goes, that is so cringe. And I was like, why? And she said, that's just like so dorky. It reminds me of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And I was like, I don't even know what that is, but that just like reminds me of like when I was in high school. And I was like, that was like such a teen anthem for girls in high school. And she was like, that was cringe. And I'm like, I'm a millennial, leave me alone.
It's crazy. That was like the theme song of Adrena's show. Was when she was on the hills. Was The Rest Is Still Unwritten?
Oh, Laguna Beach.
Was that Laguna? I didn't watch it.
It was that series, yeah.
Oh, was that
but it
it?
was
Okay, yeah,
It was the massive, like 2000s, like such a big song.
Yeah, I always give Adre. Anytime she says anything, I'm like, well, the rest is still unwritten, so we don't know.
That's so good.
But yeah, with all the crazy stuff going on, I think it's why, like, I think we're seeing like have you noticed that we are as technology, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's getting to a point that's it's going to hurt a lot of things, but the one thing that it doesn't hurt, and I think that's why you see people searching, because as a human being, you want that natural connection, just because we're on phones, and we're all guilty of it, like you don't call people as much because you see them on Instagram. So you feel like you've talked to them, then you look up and it's been 2 years, we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
But I think that's why in this time of life, when we can get, hell, we can order grogroceries right to our door, right? But now we're finding out that all the food's poisoned and all this shit that we're doing. So now you got all these people that are wanting to go and grow up the way we grew up and the way our grandfathers grew up, and they're starting to pay attention to the fact that, oh, wait a minute, great grandma cooked with lard.
Yeah.
And we ate bacon and we ate chicken eggs from the farm and we, all these things. We hunted. The meat that we ate was what we killed, and you start looking back at, wait a minute, they didn't have these diseases that we had. The children weren't going through the problems. Cancer wasn't this common of a thing.
One generation ago almost. Like it really wasn't
Not
until
long ago.
Not even. Like it was like fast food was invented after the Second World War.
Yeah.
So like that's literally less than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But I think that's why we're seeing people, I think families are starting to be like, okay, we need to take the kids hunting because it's more than just the harvest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the lessons learned at a hunting camp. It's sitting in a blind with, when you're a kid with an elder and listening. You know what I mean? It's all
learning to be bored.
Learning. Yes.
Like,
learning
use your imagination.
Yeah. Sorry,
What did
guys.
we have?
Getting
A
over cold.
stick and some dirt. Draw
Yeah.
a picture in the dirt.
Yeah.
Climb a tree. Like, no, truly. Like, being bored
creative.
is like where your creativity and imagination thrives.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I think that's why, like, I grew up outdoors. You and I've talked about it, my whole life. When you're on tour, sadly, you don't get to do as much of it.
Yeah.
It's like the blessing and the curse of having like a successful song. It's like, awesome, I got success. Okay, I'll see you next year because you're gone.
Sure.
And you got to promote that, which is great. It's what you want. But with that, you don't get to do a lot of the things that you like to do. Because you got, as it grows, you got people dependent on you. You got people that are trying to feed their families off of your touring and stuff.
Pressure, isn't it?
It's a lot. And I didn't do that for a long time. And then when I took this last year off in between labels and just kind of restructuring the team, just kind of mentally just getting myself back back centered again,
Who I want to be as a human being.
Yeah. I think you just get caught up in the rat race. And it's that way with anything. If you're building any business, and the next thing you know, it's like with our business, it's trends. Okay, this is the new thing. Everybody chase this. And then social media pops off and TikTok becomes the end all be all to everything, during COVID. So it's like all these changes. You're like, wait a minute. I've drifted so far off of what I moved here for.
Yeah.
Stop everything for a second and let's recenter, and I
Yeah.
think being able to go and hunt and not fall back in love, but fall in love with, the environment, fall back, realize like, oh, this is
Like
why.
when you're a little kid and you were just let loose running rampant in the bushes, and you just like didn't
Yeah, the
probably had
excitement.
zero skill set, but you were just like
Right.
excited to be out there.
Yeah, and just the excitement of seeing a deer walk out, you know what I mean? Or seeing, a turkey or hearing them call back, you know what I mean? Or talk back. It's like all of that stuff. And when you're in a tree stand and you're in a blind, or you're just leaned up against a tree, that's the closest you're going to get to God in the mornings, you know? And so I just really felt that more spiritual connection with it this last year.
Yeah.
Probably than I ever have my whole life. Because growing up, you just did it, you know, like what you did. And so, but I think missing it and just really being on a journey of just trying to refine myself before I go in to cut these new songs, before I go into really release new music, be like, you know what, I want this to be authentically me, not chasing something, not chasing what this is or what is what, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of truth and honesty, and I think you're seeing that come out a lot in music, you know. But I was saying all that to say, I think how crazy technology is right now, everybody's craving the simpler things of life.
For sure,
you know?
100%.
Country Outdoors is proud to partner with Yingling, the oldest brewery in America since 1829 and the official lager of the outdoors.
With like that kind of, I guess, evolution of where your head is at, where are you now? Like, where's your head on music and 2026?
Yeah, we're getting ready to start. We have songs that we've been sitting on, going to write, see if we beat kind of what we have already. We're in a cool spot. It was a little bit of a crazy spot because you get so used to 10 years of just being going.
Yeah.
Having this big team of people that are supposed to be doing all this stuff, you know?
A half of the team necessary?
No, 3/4 of the team. Man.
And you're just like, all this is getting, all this money from your, that you're making is leaking to like people that
it's just
aren't doing like half-assed.
massive percent. Yeah, 45% is what's gone off gross before you even leave town.
Yeah.
And no one talks about that stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But so we're getting in the studio. I feel so excited about this next part of my life. And I think, like I said, first stepping off. What's up, Lance? Stepping off into that can be scary.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like if you're leaving a cush job and all of a sudden you want to start a business, you know, and you're like, okay, it's you got all this runway, right? And all this cool new toys that you can play with, but you kind of got to relearn how to use it, you know? And so I'm just really excited about cutting new music, writing new songs. And then that will lead to, you know, hopefully we'll be announcing more shows for into summer and beginning of fall. So.
And I guess like something that's nice that has changed is that you don't have to be putting out like a full record. You can just be releasing singles now, right?
Well, yeah, which is also what's crazy. Because me and actually Alan, my manager, were talking about this. I was like, dude, it's kind of weird to wrap your head around because I came in at the very end of the CD era.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was still like you make the record, you hide it.
Yeah.
You only release the one song to radio.
Yeah.
Don't release anything else. Don't let anything else leak. And you package the whole, you know, you sell the whole package, you know. Now it's like, well, hell, we could write a song tonight and
put it out,
release it by Saturday. You know what I mean?
Sure, or raw, like release it raw too,
or just release it right then. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of whatever about social media and technology, but I do think the one good thing, there is a lot of good things of it. I think you give human beings anything, it's going to turn bad within time. But
because it's just what
it's just what we seem to love. But I think like what's cool about where it is now and where I kind of had to wrap my head around is it's kind of put the fans back in control of the music.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there's some artists that might not have ever been discovered that are discovered now.
Yeah.
You know, because people are being able to find it on their own, you know, or whatever, or maybe they get on a good playlist with a song and the next thing you know, that song starts blowing up. So it is it's completely different from how when we came out on the scene, you know what I mean? And like coming up, it was like, make the record, hide the record. Now it's like, I could write a song this afternoon and the team go, hey man, you might as well just releasing this tonight. Just post a little something on TikTok, see what happens, you know? And it's kind of cool, you know, it's kind of a cool Wild West feeling, you know?
What do you think, though, about the 2000s nostalgia thing that's going on? Because I feel like you definitely, and you might kill me for saying this, you definitely were like you're thriving in the bro country era a little bit. But I feel like all those songs are going to start like recirculating again because everyone's like having this 2000s nostalgia thing going on and like they're like replaying all of these hits that were like big back then.
Yeah, like baggy pants are back.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tim Montana's oldest daughter came. I was out there at his place in Montana. We did a benefit for local EMS there for their emergency medical service there. Me and him and Danny Wardsnop from Askin Alexandria. And Savannah walks out. She's wearing looks like Jinkos, and I'm like, we did that. But you know, and now I'm starting to see like shit that we grew up with now coming back again. Now I feel like whenever like bell bottoms came back in when we were younger,
100%.
and our parents were like, "Wait a minute, we were the originators of this." But I think music turned. Also, I think it's I think it's the era. It's the music, but then I also think people are craving that time again.
It's the people.
People are craving the 90s again. They're craving the early 2000s where there wasn't this divide. Who gives a shit who you're voting for? Who gives a crap what? Be a good person. Leave kids alone.
Honestly,
You know what I mean?
I think it was like pre-2020.
Yeah.
Everything pre-2020, it was like we went into like a glitch. Like, honestly, like a Matrix or something like that. Like there was a glitch in the Matrix and it kicked in 2020, and then like everything shifted and it feels weird.
It's like a restart. You know what I mean? It's like everything kind of died in March that we knew before, and then everything just changed from that point on. And I mean, you lock down the world, you push fear into everybody.
Could be Revelations. Like, you don't know. We could be living in Revelations.
If you read Revelations and you look around and read listen to the news, there's some very scary lined up things
like,
that are
Jesus is going to be here in like 2 seconds, and you're going to be like, oh, there were signs.
Yeah.
There were signs.
They were everywhere. Yeah. So I think, what's weird about that whole era, like, after, I remember here, because I grew up on all traditional country, and that's kind of what that's what I moved to town to do. And then it was like, that's not going to get played.
Yeah.
This is what.
Let's talk about that though, because like you 4 number ones, right? And they were all pretty big, like pop country. Would you call them pop country? Pop country or
for that era?
For that era, yeah. But like still bangers, still great party songs and stuff. Like still honestly great songs, but very different, like what you said, to what you're putting out now and what you grew up in.
Yeah, I think Whiskey and Rain is the closest thing to like what I moved to town to do, as far as like, kind of a mix of traditional feel, with a modern touch to it. But I mean, I talked to some radio guys and they're like, man, we were told back then, like, if it doesn't have this, we're not playing it, And so everybody's hands were kind of tied. And it's like, hey, do you want to play ball? And we're at a time where also I was not confident. I was like, I'm a kid from a trailer in Eustis, Florida, who now I'm sitting in a meeting with Warner Brothers and they're going, hey man, and I love that whole team. They were awesome. I'm not talking any crap on them.
Put this out.
But it's like, hey dude, like musically, like this is kind of where we need to go. And I'm like, well, hell, I didn't grow up really listening to kind of what was influential of that era. But okay, you know what I mean? Like, what do we do? And so I'm grateful for it. I think that, it allowed me to really learn. I think some people move to town and they hit a home run right out of the gate, but a lot of people need to know that 98% of artists don't. Yeah. And it takes people. I just listened to, or Alan, my manager, was telling me that I listened to the Bobby Bones podcast with Kenny Chesney. It's like Kenny had a greatest hits album out, and Kenny said, people didn't even know who the heck he was, and then he had to really stop and like, okay, who am I? And he started taking health seriously and started going to the beach and started realizing, like, you know what, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down at least the way I want to. You know what I mean? And then boom, he's been on a rocket ship ever since. So I'm grateful for that time. I think there's still
tons of opportunities came from it. We met during that period. You played in Australia because of
played Australia. That's why I was from it. It changed my whole life, and it set me up to now go and do what I want to do now.
Who you are, what your boundaries are as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important to look back on those times of life and go, okay, this is what I learned from it, because we can't go back and change anything,
So it's very like typical of your 20s as well. In your 20s, you're like just not like you're a lot more influenced. And then once you get into your 30s, you're like,
I don't give a shit now. This is it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So
it is weird. It is like a brain thing that switches in your mid 30s. You're just like, man, all right, either they're gonna like it or not.
I know, like the 40s has to be epic because the like late 30s is pretty good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it's like I'm just really excited. I think now to piecing a good people around me, really kind of like you said, knowing your boundaries, knowing your limits, knowing what to say yes to, what to say no to, knowing the power of the word no in some situations is very big. And in this business, as you know, you got to say yes to everything, And like you said, in their 20s, next thing you know, you got a record deal, you're on the radio, you got to hit, oh shit, it's all happening. You don't want to slow down. And in your mind, you're like, oh, there's 1,000 people.
And that's the thing.
Then there are. Exactly. Yeah. So, luckily what we do is our passion, but like anything, would you do what you love, even if you do it, no matter how much you love something, if you do it for a job, there's days where it's a job.
For sure. 100%.
But.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. We've had you here for 20 minutes already.
It's already been 20 minutes?
Yeah. Okay, last question. Spring's coming up. Do you have any turkey hunting plans?
Yeah, me and my buddy Josh Phillips, I think, are gonna head to Texas. It was my first time hunting turkey in Texas, so
Okay.
that'll be fun. Florida, gonna go down there and
Are you going to shoot an Osceola? Is that where are they?
yeah. They're down in like where we have some land, the central area,
Central,
southern.
almost on the fringe, aren't you?
Yeah. And then I got some friends of mine that are more like Lake Okeechobee
Yeah, that's the
area.
true.
That's the true, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got some connections down there that we're gonna see. I what I've learned is having a good balance of touring, and that really helps. And I also learned that I did not utilize connections with the crap. Yeah, because I'm like utilizing everybody. They're like, yeah, dude, this is what we've been.
Because you didn't want to be Gurmy.
Yes, and I also like. I just didn't know how to. I grew up, I always say this, like when you grow up in like a blue collar family, it's just, hey, don't bother that guy.
Yeah.
Just go show up, work, do your job, take care of your family. You know what I mean? Mind your business. Don't bother. Everybody's busy, And then I had to learn, took me about 9 years, to learn that, okay, yes, that's true. But if you're trying to own a business or run your own business, you got to ask for some shit. You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big learning things I've learned was like, okay, I can have that same work ethic, but you do got to, people are offering because they want you to have, you know what I mean? They want you to do
People
this.
genuinely usually are flattered when you do approach them.
Yes. Yeah. Because so many, you come to find out, and I was one of those people for a long time. I was like, I don't want to bother. Hey, thank you. I didn't get invited to these places, whatever. And that, man, just come out day early, and I'd say yes to some other, thing, the work thing or whatever. But now I've been saying yes. And this last year, I'm like, shit, why didn't I do this?
Yeah,
I didn't
do this.
I've been doing this the whole time. Like, I didn't utilize anything during the time, but this next go around,
That's awesome.
people are going to be hearing too much from me. They're gonna be like,
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I just had a brain freeze. I just had an absolute brain freeze just then. Michael, thank you so much for stopping by. It's a pleasure as always. We will continue the conspiracy theory conversations after the
Maybe we have a country outdoors late night show.
I really want to do one, honestly. I just don't want to get killed. So
Yeah. Well, they're starting to all be real, so I don't know how much.
I know that's exactly what is that. What do they say about the difference between a conspiracy theorist and the truth? Is like 6 months.
I haven't heard that. That's
It's pretty good. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's a pleasure
always,
as always.
anytime.
I know you weren't feeling amazing, but the
you're
fact that
good.
you showed up is a
Hey,
testament. So,
anything for y'all.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Absolutely.
A lot of us grew up with Field and Stream, dreaming about our next cast, our next hunt, and our next outdoor escape. And now you can read the best of outdoor storytelling the way it was meant to be read. Field and Stream is back in print. For a limited time, new members get a bonus journal with their first delivery, and premium members also get a members-only hat. This special offer is only available for a limited time, so join the 1871 Club today and head to fieldandstream.com/1871club.
And we are back, guys. I am back here at NWTF, and I have Sam Soholt and Ben O'Brien, avid sportsman, co-host of The Roost. Sam, also of Legends of the Wild with Field and Stream. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We don't often speak at the same time, but
No, I want you both to speak. So tell me about The Roost and how you both got together and got started. Where are you both from originally?
I grew up in South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yep.
Yeah.
I grew up on the East Coast, so
Interesting.
we were just talking about I moved to Montana about 8 years ago.
Yep.
And part of moving to Montana for me was the childhood dream of being able to roam around, and I'd seen Lonesome Dove as a kid, and I thought, this is the place.
Yeah.
I'm an outdoorsman. I love doing these things. This is the place to go. And I also thought maybe they wouldn't have as many turkeys or ducks or some of the things I was used to, white-tailed deer in the East Coast. And I got there and I realized, they have all of that.
And they don't care about the turkey either,
No,
or
they
the
don't.
whitetail. So you're like, yes, score.
They don't.
Yeah, it's like invasive somehow for Montana.
Yeah, and we were saying it was about I would say 2019, the first year we realized we could do a turkey tour.
Yeah.
There was the idea that we could get in our trucks and come back 8 days later and have hunted 3 or 4 states,
Yeah.
and had hunted 5 or 6 different landscapes, had wall tents, sleeping in the back of our trucks, sleeping on the ground, sleeping in weird hotels, sleeping in weird cabins from landowners who gave us access.
Yep.
So we realized that the turkey tour was something that we wanted to do. We say we're like 12-year-old boys who built forts on top of our trucks.
Yeah.
We just roam around the public land and hunt turkeys. And we hunt a lot, both of us, all over the country. That first couple weeks in May when we're turkey touring in the West is my favorite time in the outdoors. And that's what we chase on Roost. It's just like a lot of caffeine,
Yeah.
a lot of energy drinks, not a lot of sleep,
Yeah.
a lot of turkeys.
Yeah, we do a turkey tour here as well, and I know all about that. We started in 2020. But before we get into all of that, I want to know, how did you guys meet? And then also, when did you both get into hunting?
Are we going to do the whole story?
Yeah, we'll do a quick version of the whole story. All right. So we met because in it would have been 2013. I had been on a photo shoot for Remington Firearms, and I met an editor for Peterson's Hunting Magazine. And like a week later, Mike Scobie texted me. He's like, "Hey, can you hop on a call?" And hop on the call, and it was Ben O'Brien. I think it was Skype back then, but it was Ben O'Brien, Mike Scobie, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to British Columbia to do a moose hunt with Joe Rogan. Can you come shoot photos on it?" I was like, "Yep, sure can." So then, like a week later, I was in British Columbia with Ben and Rogan, and we rolled around in a truck for a week, shot a couple moose, shot a cover photo of Rogan holding the moose quarter over his shoulder, and then. Funny enough, we both went to work for Yeti like 2 months later.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. That was like, it's weird to meet a guy in the camp with Joe Rogan now knowing. Back then, he was just like the guy from Fear Factor.
Yeah.
He had just started hunting. This was his second or third hunt ever.
When was this?
2013. Yeah.
2015. Okay.
And he had really didn't know anything about hunting, and I didn't really know anything about him. We just knew that he was really into it, and he was new, and he'd be a great cover model for our magazine.
Cool.
And he really wanted to go. And that turned into a friendship that we've had with him for all that time and a bunch of opportunities. And Sam and I have traveled the world together since then, all over New Zealand and all.
Yeah, we've covered lots of ground together.
Yeah.
Especially like the early years when Ben was at Yeti, he was in charge of like hiring photo shoots for all the hunting stuff, and he just knew I could shoot photos, so I got to tag along on a lot of stuff.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
A lot of good adventures.
And so you became friends then. Worlds kind of separated. You end up in different places. You stay in contact, obviously, for work and all of that. So when do you decide to like get together to form this turkey tour? And
So 2022 was the first year we did Roost. Ben just called me up and was like, "Hey, I'm doing a turkey podcast. We're doing 8 episodes. It'll be like a one-off thing. We'll get everybody who knows everything about turkey hunting. We'll interview them."
sponsors and stuff already, or like
Oh, no.
what was the deal? You
No.
just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
No, I've been in hunting media for a long time. I was at Meat Eater and ran the, podcast department there and the editorial department. So I've been in podcasts, had my own for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he kind of just knew what to do. And I was trying to think of like, what do I want to do the most? I was kind of out on my own, doing my own thing. And I like turkeys. Who do I want to do it the most with? Sam Soholt.
Yep.
So I called him. I said, we had just planned to do like a series on how to turkey hunt. We ended up doing it with Will Primos and Jason Hart and Dave Owens,
Lake Pickle, and Aaron Warburton. And
Yeah. Good people.
Yeah.
So we did it just as a one-off. Like, hey, here's a thing that anybody could access at any time to get like us interviewing, being journalists and interviewing turkey hunting's greatest. So we did that. And then the next year we were like, we should probably do something else.
Yeah,
just because we enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, just like turned into like, hey, let's see how many states we can hunt in a very short period of time. So I think we ended up doing like 4 or 5 this spring of 2023 in like 10 days. It was just like bouncing around.
Where did you go?
We were in the West, so it was like Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Washington. Is that all of them?
Yeah, I think that
Is
was
it like public land and door knocking?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly public land then. And we had enough kind of intellectual property then to know where to go.
Yeah.
But that season is when it like codified in my mind, at least, that this is one of the coolest things
For sure.
that you can do.
Yeah.
And we had some of these like iconic camping spots where you just kind of like, it's burned in your memory, like this sitting around a campfire, getting up early, failing a ton, and then having like the dam break and turkeys are everywhere and you're filling tags and you're driving to the next place and then driving home and doing it again. And so it was that 2022 was really when I was like, this is it. This is what we're going to do for, we have nobody to tell us what to do. We just get to, create the content we want to create.
Still like the end of pandemic then, wasn't it? We started our turkey tour in 2020, and just on the Montana note, because I resonate with it so deeply, we were out and it was like when everybody was really, really weird about it. And so we were writing handwritten notes and putting them in people's boxes. And then we were going down this one dirt road, and I won't share the pins because I always say like, sharing pins is like back in the day, actual pins when people collected stamps and pins.
Wow.
Zach did his research. He had a theory that there might be some good turkey hunting area around here. We're driving up and down, leaving in mailboxes. We see this one rancher just standing, like fixing fences down this like fence line. And we kind of like drive up, and then he looks like this, and we kind of wave, and he's going, what's going on? I don't think he'd seen anybody or spoken to anybody in months. Like, it had been such a crazy time. And he's like, what do you guys want? And we were like, we just wanted to see if you happen to have any turkeys. Anyway, this guy's like, yeah, I think I have a couple. I'm not kidding you. This ended up being the Disneyland of all Disneylands for turkey hunting. And we went in like most beautiful white-tipped Merriams ever, just spectacular. We were like, is anybody seeing this? How did we stumble across this? But like you guys would have experienced just so many magical hunts like that you wouldn't have had opportunity for if you didn't actually get in a truck and just like door knock and do it, like pave some dirt.
And just go.
We say that, like, what really is, like, in the outdoors, what's freedom feel like? And when you're getting up in the morning and you can go anywhere that you want and you can find public land, we've had, each year we have 2 or 3 times where we just show up to a spot where, like, we think there could be a turkey here. We go to sleep, we wake up in the morning, and there's a turkey gobbling somewhere on the ridge or somewhere across the river. And you just think, like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, we can do and go wherever we want on public land. We can door knock wherever we want. And we don't got anywhere to be except for here. And that's the kind of like Western kind of wanderlust freedom that I think.
So what are some of the like conservation highlights that you guys are seeing that should be spoken about out in your area when it comes to wild turkeys?
Yeah, wildfire.
Yeah, fire is the big one. Just creating more habitat through, like, not catastrophic wildfires, but having prescribed burns.
Prescribed burns.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
we
big
went
thing
to
out west.
Colorado, I think it was 2 years ago for elk hunting after they'd had that massive fire that ripped through the national park and stuff. And that was just horrific to see when it's not managed, like what can actually happen as well.
It's intensity of fire, really. And that's where we see fire's a good thing on any landscape. It's definitely a good thing out west with these big timber blocks. Fires are good. Fires are restorative. So we always say, like, look, we're here for fire. But with the amount of fuel that's in some of these forests, you get a catastrophic fire that completely erases all the biodiversity.
Like
and that,
matches.
and so now you're in a situation where you have no habitat.
Yeah.
And all the wildlife has moved. We had a deal like that. We hunted a particular unnamed national forest in Montana for that 2019, 2020, 21 year. Turkeys everywhere, great. They had a fire just north of there.
Yeah.
And I haven't been back since because I just know that those turkeys will have moved out of there and the entire dynamic will have changed. And so we mostly just focus on fire. I mean, there's other things, water, they're protecting guzzlers and different things like that in the west.
Yeah, along riparian areas, like on the river system stuff, like, predator management to some extent. There's not as many like ground nesting predators out west as there are in places like the Midwest or the, in more of the timbered areas. But some of that also needs to be focused on just because there's a lot of like 50 to 100-year-old cottonwood trees that are, home to a lot of raccoons and different stuff.
Yeah.
Really hard on nests right that time of year.
Yeah, and it's wintering grounds too. I mean, a lot of turkeys in the west are wintering in a feedlot or somewhere near town or some little creek where they can get access to food. So want to make sure that they have those places. Those places are protected, and we kind of know where they disperse after that. So it's not so much different than the southeast, really, but it's just those large construct wildfires.
Bigger land blocks. So like in the southeast, I do think that, like, and I'm not being biased because I live down here, but like Southeasterners are pretty good at land management for prescribed burns.
Yeah.
Especially down in Mississippi. And that's not just because I live around the Mossy Oak land, but I see it all the time with the farmland. And I think people kind of know because they're living and breathing turkey culture down here. I think they kind of know if you want turkeys to come, you kind of have to do that. Tell me this about out where you guys are, which is where exactly you're Utah?
I'm in North Dakota.
You're North Dakota now, and where are
Montana.
You're in Montana. Sorry, NWTF, mum brain. Have you seen hunter involvement increase over the last couple of years since the pandemic?
Yeah,
for sure.
I would say overall, yes. I think that it comes in different ways. I would say in Bozeman, Montana, NWTF has a huge banquet. It's a big deal every year.
Yeah.
There's a ton of involvement. And we were just talking about years ago, we were involved with First Light, the clothing company, and they were saying there's no turkey hunters out west. There's not not like in the Southeast. Our guys are elk hunters, they're mule deer hunters, they're backcountry hunters.
Antelope.
And I think you're wrong about that. I think all those guys either want to hunt turkeys or already hunt turkeys. And so I think that there is, while, you know, you don't see a turkey statue when you come to a landowner's property in Montana, you see an elk statue or a mule deer statue. People love to hunt turkeys. I mean,
I think it's a cultural thing too. Like if people say, "Oh, turkeys are dumb," then everyone's gonna say turkeys are dumb. Do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, for sure. Have you guys got any peak highlights over the last 5 years from hunts that just really stand out, good and bad?
Last spring, we had a hunt. The first time we had been into this piece of public property, and there was birds gobbling on the roost really hard. And we snuck down this drainage and we got in, and we literally had a wall of turkeys strut into about 6 feet. And
they like grabbed one. Neck.
And Ben was like, "You shoot first." And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting because I needed one to like separate a little bit. And finally, I think one looked into my eyes and then broke from the pack. And then I shot one, and then we ended up doubling. But like having literally 5 full strut birds at like arm's distance was
the calling sequence. Like Sam's hammering, I'm hammering these birds. We got hens in the back clucking, bubble clucking, and yelping and going crazy. And like there's 5 toms in there just hammering. And at one point I said, "Sam, I think they're hung up." And as soon as those words came out of my mouth, bam, a gobble like right in front of us. I said, "I don't think so." Get ready. So it was like a weird joke that it was early in the morning and there was a bunch of mist. And these turkeys came like from here to the end of this booth out of the mist, just fans straight out of the mist.
There's something magical about a misty morning turkey hunt, for sure.
And we were in this like little oak flat and just the
it
crunching leaves.
It was really cool.
It was pretty cool. It's like you get those moments where even afterwards, we said, "I don't think we're ever going to do that again." Like I don't think.
Yeah, that was like top 3 turkey experience.
5 turkeys just coming straight over the hill. And then luckily he shot one and a lot of them flew up into trees. So I'm like, I'm not going to shoot one out of a tree. And one stepped out and I shot the second one. So
what about sketchy moments, whether or not it's turkey or just like in general, because you guys are big game hunters as well out west. So, you know, there's a lot of predators, a lot of weather systems, all of that stuff, sketchy moments in the outdoors.
Oh, yeah. So if we're talking turkey hunting, so not last spring, the spring before, I was on a hunt with my brother and a couple guys. We'd actually given a hunt away the year before, and the winner was finally able to come. And we hunted out in like clay country. And the spot that we camped to get in there, it was like a 30-degree road, like kind of up to this plateau flat where we camped. Well, weather, said it wasn't going to rain. And that morning we had a thunderstorm roll through and it dropped about a half-inch of rain. And so we're on like ice, slick, clay, and we got to drive out of here. And at that time we're in the public land van, which was a converted Quigley Express van, like 4-wheel drive, the whole thing, but we're pulling a little like camping trailer behind, a little turtleback trailer. And my brother drove. I was like, thank God he's driving. Like he lives for these type of moments like that, not me.
He can handle it.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, between the two of us.
He can handle it.
Well, yeah, he was like, I've been looking forward. He literally like put his hands together. He's like, I've been looking forward to this all morning.
Oh no.
So we start over this crest of this like literal like mudslide, and we start going, and we're trying to keep it as slow as possible to start. And we get over the top, and all of a sudden it starts to break loose, and you can't hit the brakes because we've got a trailer behind us. We're just gonna, and the sides of, if anybody's been to like western Kansas, western Nebraska, they know that a lot of these roads, when they carve them, they have these walls that are like 20 feet tall on each side of the road as they like grade them. And we're coming down this, the van breaks loose, and he goes, I got to give it throttle. I was like, go. And so he slams on the gas to keep it straight. And we start drifting back and forth, and we drifted all the way over to the left, and like that wall of clay is just coming right at us. And there was a big mound of like clay that had fallen down from the like rain and erosion and stuff. And the front tire hit that. We got so close to the wall, it bent the mirror, pushed the mirror into the sidewall. We had clay scraped on the ladder on the side of the van, but it bounced us back to the center, and then we like squirted out the bottom. And didn't roll the van, didn't break the van, saved it. So that was real sketchy.
We got other sketchy stories. Yeah.
You were clenching the entire time.
Oh yeah, the whole time. I was like holding the oh shit handle. Just
luckily for us, turkey hunting is less less treacherous usually. At least we try. Last year we had considered swimming across a river to get to turkeys that were on an island. We've considered going to town and buying a boat, and so that we get a little sketchy on the river from time to time.
Yeah, I was shopping on Facebook Marketplace for boats just to make it happen.
Yeah, that's true. True enough.
What about you, Ben?
Oh, which one? I mean, I almost died in Nepal one time.
Tell us.
Hunting blue sheep. You want to hear that one?
do it.
That's a long one. I used to work at Yeti and run hunting marketing for Yeti back in the day, and we had a ambassador by the name of Cole Kramer, who's a brown bear guide in Alaska. And part of our program was making Yeti films, and we wanted to make a film about Cole. And so I asked Cole, hey, what's your dream hunt? You've been around the world. He hunts brown bears on Kodiak Island for a living. He's a pretty badass fella.
Yeah.
And he said, I want to go to Nepal and hunt blue sheep. And I was like, what's that? What are those? He showed me a picture. I said, that looks pretty cool, but we're never going to be able to do that. Who would sign off on that? And he said, well, just ask. So I went to my boss at Yeti. I said, hey, Cole wants to do this hunt. Could we do a film about it? And he said, sure.
And then you're like, oh, crap.
Okay, I was like, I think I got to go to Nepal. Oh, no. And so that was January, and we went in March. I had like 2 months to prepare for this. And I could have never, I could have had 10 years.
The Stairmaster just like whips out.
I was doing like plyometrics. I didn't know what to do. I was like the Stairmaster at home. Like I thought shake weight, maybe it would work. And so we had a little bit of time to research, but you just really don't know what you're stepping into. So we flew to Kathmandu. We get out. It's pretty clear that it's not going to go the way I thought. Like Kathmandu is a wild place. I mean, it is. They said, don't eat any of the food. You might get sick. Immediately, everybody started to get sick. I'll save you the details, but we're all pretty sick.
Oh, so it's Kathmandu, is it? Like, I know Nepal is but that's where you went to.
Yeah, so we flew to Kathmandu. Yep, flew into Kathmandu. Istanbul to Kathmandu.
Wow.
And then we helicoptered into another smaller town and then helicoptered into what you might call a base camp. Our base camp, I want to say, was like maybe 14,000 feet.
Big mountains.
Yeah, big mountains, big crazy mountains. We flew into a place called Dule Yarsa. It's a small village, and when I say a small village, cut into the side of the middle of nowhere in the Western Himalayas. They see about maybe 12 Westerners a year. 12 people outside of the village a year or so. Hikers and adventurers will come through there. So we base camp in this little hut in the middle of nowhere. Literally, they said it was like a 6 days mule ride to get to the nearest town. And so I'm already out of my element. I don't really know what to do. And then everybody gets sick. Everybody's sick. The whole thing is just a mess. We're supposed to film. Nobody can film. Nobody can sight their rifles in. Long story short, we start going. Well, we're walking on these goat trails that are like 1,000-foot cliffs. We're walking on a goat trail about that wide. And we're hiking to one base camp and to the next. We got about 30 or 40 Sherpas with big, basses on their head walking. We got mules. We have goats. We have this whole...
Are you having breathing problems?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I was like, I was sat phoning my wife. I'm an alpha male. Everyone's sick and I'm fine.
Tell everyone I love you.
I love you so much. But I was fine. I wasn't sick at all. But everybody else in our party was getting sick. And so I was like in the head of the pack just going.
You're not like, oh, it's just a matter of time?
No, I was like, I'm the best. So we get up to this little spot. I mean, you can't even imagine what it looks like. I mean, it's mountains as far as the eye can see. It's the Himalayas. It's an amazing sight. There's a small temple where they stop to pray. I'm standing at this temple, and I look over, and some of the mules are stuck in the snow trying to get up over this little pass to get down into the river bottom to camp. And I was looking at that, thinking, oh, that sucks. And then next thing I know, I was looking at the sky, thinking, well, that's not good. And so I sat up. We had a interpreter and a medic on the camp, and he came in, sat with me, put his arm around me. Hey, his name's Ben. Hey, what's going on? I explained to him what was happening. He said, we're going to try to get you to camp. We'll see if you can stand up. And I stood up, and it was not good. I was like, oh. So you get taught when you're going up to that elevation that you have cerebral edema, pulmonary edema. There are things, acute mountain sickness. There are things that the helicopter's on call. Like, oh, okay, if this is going to happen, you better be ready. So you immediately start checking those boxes in your mind. I was pretty out of it, though. It was probably a 3 or 4 mile hike into our little camp that they made. So everybody hiked ahead of it. Me and the medic just kind of slowly
The medic's carrying you.
He's kind of, you know, we're talking. He's feeding me apples and like trying to keep me talking. I'll save you the details, but at one point I look across the thing and I see a wolf run down, this black wolf run down the hill. And I start,
No, man.
yeah, and I start telling him like, hey, dude, there's a wolf. Like, get the binoculars out. He's like, there's no wolves here.
Full hallucinations.
That full, just, you know, trying to figure out what this is. So we're going down. I get a little bit further. I look to my left and there's a baby sitting in the trail. I didn't say anything about the
I
baby.
would have been freaking out.
I was freaking out. I haven't talked to that guy in years, but I'd like to get his perspective on this because I didn't tell him about the baby because I thought if I tell him about the baby, I'm gonna have to go home. and if this is
Definitely get
if this is really a baby, it's the baby's fault for being out here. The baby should not.
Was it?
be out here.
Was it the like ooga chaka ooga?
I think a little like yeah. I think he was just kind of doing this. I'm looking and I'm like, for sure, if this baby, it's on the baby. Like, you shouldn't be here. I can't help you.
Go away.
Go away. And it's just like it's one of those things where you just can't quite understand. So he finally gets me down into camp. We had to go down the switchbacks. They take me in the tent. They put like a big puffy on me and they filmed me just kind of like not really with it, saying this mountain's going to kill us, all kinds of weird stuff.
Insane.
You know, and I think they call it like acute mountain sickness. You don't really know. Like people have died. I mean, you just fall over dead. There's guys in Everest Base Camp playing cards and just fall over dead.
Yeah.
And so you just don't really know. But the next day, I slept through the night. The medic slept in a tent with me. I woke up next morning. They said, hey, if you can hike up to this hill and come back, we'll let you stay. We won't get your life flighted out. So I'd made it, came back, was feeling a little bit better, feeling like I was okay. And then we hike out to the next camp. We finally see some sheep up on the hill, and I'm looking up on the hill. I'm feeling like I'm going to make it. And then I feel my stomach start to go. And then for the next 2 days, roughly, I stayed in the tent and just, you know, had a time. And our Cole went up, shot a sheep, came back. I stayed in the tent for the entire time. Didn't get to experience that at all. And then the next day, somehow I lost like 12 pounds. Somehow I got out of the tent the next day and we went up the hill in this crazy crevasse, got up on top. I shot a sheep.
You did.
Oh yeah, somehow. Everybody packed everything for me. I just kind of had to walk with trekking poles. There's pictures of me just looking, I mean, it's bad. Dead, just emaciated. But I got up there, shot a sheep, took some pictures with it, hiked down, slept for a whole day, and then we got out of camp and we hiked out. And by the time we got back to base camp, I was feeling pretty good. And then from there, I didn't look good. I looked pretty terrible at the end of it. But I got a sheep, and that's yeah, it's a story to tell. There's a Yeti film. The baby. There's a Yeti film somewhere on it. It doesn't cover the baby.
Insert like some clips of that in here now. Gosh. So essentially, like what everybody else had, you caught, but then plus all of like the like vertigo, whatever it was on top of it.
I think so, yeah. And I've asked other people that were on, because my recollection of it could be completely, you know, in the state I was in, I'm like, am I telling the story right? Like, is this, and I've gotten yeah, that's pretty much how it was. And we were debating whether to just have the helicopter come get you overnight because you were saying some weird stuff. I was like, yeah. So yeah, that
I'm
was.
sure like whoever you were in camp with though, like the bonding over that experience, I'm sure you're still friends with them to this day.
Oh
It's
yeah,
one
I
of those
mean,
things.
you can't. That's all I say about the shows like this. Like you come to these shows and people that you've hunted with and you see them, there's no bond like somebody you spent hunting camp with. This is kind of a little extra step up.
Yeah, just all those shared experiences, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty intense shared experience.
Yeah, and you know, that I wasn't supposed to be the center of attention on this trip. We had other people we were filming. I was just there to, you know, be there. And so we didn't, you know, include this in any of the filming, nor should we have, but I kind of became the center of attention there for a while. Not by choice.
And then you got sick on every hunt afterwards.
I'll tell you, right after that, him and I went to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Not like a month after, maybe 2 months after. I felt great.
Yeah.
We were going up and down mountains of New Zealand. I thought
It's a different type of mountain though.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's different type
Starting
of
at sea
elevation.
level,
Yeah.
you know,
Different type of
it?
mountains.
You got those Hobbit mountains in
Oh,
Brazil.
yeah. And the elevation is scary. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's for people that live here and come to Montana. Like
Yeah, for
0 to 5,000 is scary. So I think we got up as high as 15 or 16 on that hunt.
That's pretty big.
So you just don't know. You don't know what it's going to do to you.
Awesome. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Tell me this. So when it comes to turkey hunting and calling, where are your preferences?
Like what type of call?
Yeah, types of call.
I really like friction calls, pot calls.
Hot calls.
Yeah.
Do you have a like favorite?
Well, we actually have our own call now, but just a crystal call. I really like putting on a
Where
crystal
can people
pot
find that?
on roostshow.com.
Rooster.com. Yeah, they launched today, in fact.
Yeah.
Who did you build that with?
So we worked through Pacific Calls out of Post Falls, Idaho. They build calls for lots of people in the industry.
Yeah.
And we've worked with them the last 4 years, making some calls in collaboration with NWTF and sold them through Public Land Tees. And this year we're selling our Roost calls with our logo on it. We have a crystal call and a slate call that both sound really good through our website, Roost Show. Yeah.
Yeah, the crystal call. Sam on the crystal call is a special.
Songbird.
He's special.
Yeah.
Some of our
I don't know
generation.
about that,
Some
but-
say it. Some are saying
What
that.
about generation?
Yeah, him on the crystal call and then his owl hoot together is a combo that we've had a
We like
lot
owl hoot.
against. Yeah.
Do you have it here?
An owl hoot?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
right here.
It's right here. Yeah.
Oh, do it.
Do it.
Oh boy, on the
Come on.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's pretty good.
Probably loud,
That's
but
pretty.
yeah. Yeah.
There you go. All right, we're going to wrap it up by saying, we're at NWTF Convention. This show is this is our 5th year having the booth, and we've watched it go from 50,000 consumers to now 84 last year. This year, I think it's going to peak. What does this show mean to you guys?
Oh man.
Well, I think for me, it's cool just because it's like all of the heritage and like the brotherhood of turkey hunting, like is just here. Like everybody is like-minded. They all understand like what turkey hunting with friends and family like really means. And it's cool to see that on display. Like you look anywhere and that's what you see across the board.
Yeah. And my oldest son is 9 years old, and we got him into turkey hunting last year. He shot his first 2 turkeys. We filmed it, and it was a whole thing. This community means a lot to me because I can bring him into it, and I know what he's gonna
Yeah.
get. He's gonna get people that love the outdoors, that care about wildlife,
Yeah.
that like to have fun, that are like to tell turkey stories. You walk around here and just meet anybody randomly and talk turkeys, and it's so to bring in my next generation into this community means a lot to me because I know what I get when I come here. I know exactly what I'm gonna get, and good folks that care about the things I care about.
Yeah, this show is in particular such a family-friendly show. And you can see like there's kids and there's all the way up to grandma and grandpa here. And I think that just kind of speaks to the community in general and that everybody's welcome. And the barrier to entry for turkey hunting is a lot easier as well, rather than, bow hunting or anything like big game. Last question, what is your plans for the spring?
Ooh, we were just saying like we have like a song we can list off all the states we're hunting, like Wisconsin, Georgia. Like we're gonna definitely hunt Texas for my son's youth season, his second youth season. Then we're gonna hopefully get on over to Georgia in late March, and then what else? We got Montana, North Dakota, Nebraska.
Yep. North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, maybe Wisconsin. Well, you're going to Wisconsin.
I'm going
for
to
sure.
Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're gonna be all over. We'll film all of that. We'll have 6 or 7 episodes. All the stuff that we shoot comes out same year, usually within the same couple of weeks. So we'll go do the hunt, try to get the content up on YouTube and the podcast within a couple of weeks of doing it. Feels good to get it off the plate, and it feels good if people can follow along with what we do.
Sure.
We'll launch. We're gonna launch on Tuesday. The show every year we do it seasonally. We launch it on in mid-February and go all the way through May. And so we'll have a lot of content.
I love it. And so people can watch Roost on YouTube and Spotify, Apple, all podcast streaming
Anywhere you get a
platforms.
podcast,
Amazing.
YouTube and roostshow.com.
Love it. Thank
Yep.
you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys, I have a confession to make. I have a terrible sense of direction, and it's no wonder I haven't got lost in the woods or eaten by a bear at this stage, but there's a reason for that, and it's because I have Onyx Hunt. Onyx Hunt is incredible. It's an incredible mapping feature, and it has helped me navigate my way out of some pretty sketchy areas using the compass feature. I've been able to get back to my truck. I've been able to drop pins and waypoints to be able to coordinate how to get to A to B, to be able to find that turkey that I saw on the road and knock and get permission. Guys, though, if you really want to know who's a fanatic at dropping pins, it's my husband, Zach. If you look in his phone, he has thousands of these pins. If it was the 1920s, he'd be able to trade them and get some money out of them. But don't take my opinion. Go and download Onyx today and check it out for yourself. Good luck this fall. All right, and we are back at NWTF Convention 2026, and I have the fellas from the Buffalo River Project, a new short film coming to Field and Stream YouTube. I'm here with James Lawson, Matt McGee, and Seth Schuster. They're going to tell us about a bit of a wild adventure that they just went on last spring. Was it last spring?
Yep, that's right.
They packed up all their gear in a canoe and went down the Buffalo River and DIY turkey hunted out in the middle of nowhere. James, kick it off. Tell us about this crazy idea that you had and why you thought this would be a good idea.
Yeah. So last spring we did exactly that. We packed up our truck and everybody headed down to Arkansas. The Buffalo National River is a national park.
Yeah.
It's America's first and oldest scenic river. And what makes it really interesting, it's just an enormous amount of public land that's untouched. So 26-mile canoe trip, 7 days in the backcountry, chasing eastern turkeys. It's about as good as it gets.
Okay, tell me this. Whose idea was it?
Well, the idea actually came about 7 years ago when we did this trip previously.
You guys are old-time buddies, right? You've known each other a long, long time?
Buddy here grew up together.
All grew up in Missouri. Whereabouts in Missouri?
Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia,
Oh,
Missouri.
same down, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so, buddies, how did this come about 7 years ago?
Well, we of course love turkey hunting, and we also love canoeing and being in the outdoors and camping. And so it kind of was like, how could we just combine all these things together that we love doing and do it all at one time, and then make it really hard too?
And why did you wait 7 years?
Well, I mean, we did it 7 years previously, and then we did it again.
Oh, you did it. This is the second time.
This was a return.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I have so many questions. We're going to get stuck into it now. What was your packing list? We're going to start with packing list, why you chose those items, and then we're going to go into the trip, some of the things that worked, some of the things that didn't work, some of the crazy things that happened along the way. Were there any arguments? We want to know everything.
Okay.
Okay. You've decided that you're going to do it. Who made the decision? You.
I guess I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Seth's like, yeah, you a video producer? Is that your background?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it really kind of came about, the three of us were talking, and it's like, this is something that's really exciting. Nobody ever does this. Anybody can do it, but nobody ever does. So let's tell the story of this. And so these guys were like, hey, we're getting tags anyway. Do you want to come along and film this? And it's like,
One sec.
Yep. There you go.
The beauties of live filming, live entertainment.
We're here for all of it.
Yeah.
It's not Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so you're going to take a canoe-based turkey hunt. The first thing you need is a canoe, right? So you wanna
Obviously.
talk about what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
need. So choosing the right canoe is actually a big part of, if you're going to be in the backcountry for that long, we wanted something that was super lightweight but super stable.
Is there 3 of you or 4 of you in the canoe?
No, so it's just 2 of us, and then the production team ran
On a separate.
chase boat.
Okay.
A chase boat, yeah, so they could get up and down the river
Yep.
more easily. Now we can only go downriver because we're in a canoe.
Yeah.
Right. So big tripper canoe. We picked one from Winona, a Minnesota too. So really long, 18.5-foot canoe. We needed something that was super stable too, because you're going to get a lot of weather in the spring in North Arkansas. That river can fluctuate with regards to river levels really quickly. So we wanted something that was super stable.
Yeah.
We put on with some weather, got some weather the first day we were there.
Yeah, we did.
That stuff matters. And you need something with a really large carrying capacity. I think the boat capacity on our boat was around 1,100 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, that's including guys.
And then what else are you bringing with you for this? How many days was it?
7,
7 full days, 7 nights, or 6 nights, 7 days?
6 nights.
6 nights, 7 days.
Yeah.
So what is your packing list and why are you packing these items?
Well, so it's, I mean, a lot of your regular camping stuff. I'm a hammock camper, so I have my hammock, sleeping bag. We have, of course, have a Yeti cooler full of
Thermocell?
food.
Thermocell?
We thermocells, you bet.
definitely bringing a thermocell.
Yeah. Permethrin.
You try to take what you need. I mean, that's kind of the name of the game in the backpacking world. While this isn't exactly that, we get to take a few more comforts because we have a canoe, but you still have to make some decisions about what you need and what you don't need. Primary for me is the water system.
Yeah.
You got to have clean water, and you can't pack in 7 days worth of water for 4 guys. So
So what were you bringing for the cleaning?
we use the Sawyer water filter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I like the gravity system. Put it in big bags, let it drain down. It does the work while you're doing other stuff. So,
Okay. And then what basic food are you bringing in?
Well, we eat good food. You know,
Yeah.
most people go
Camp
camping.
like a yeah.
It's worth noting, like, if we're not backpacking and we've got the boat, there are some creature comforts.
For sure.
Yeah, that we're going to bring in. Like, we're going to have a Yeti cooler so that we can make sure that we can pack those birds out.
Yep.
If we're successful, we
Yep.
want to make sure that we're being good stewards of that
Yep.
opportunity. And then the second part is that allows us to bring really, really good food in. So we have a steak night one night that we're there. We're able to freeze dry. We have some freeze dried food too.
You're bringing lighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not like roughing it with the, like flint and like trying to make it even harder
Yeah.
for yourselves.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you do get some creature comforts,
Yeah.
but we pre-cook all that food before we even go in. We're just heating it up over water. Typically, we're hunting in places like this where they've got a burn ban, or
Yeah.
we've got to watch for that.
Yeah, which was the case this year. We couldn't have any fires whatsoever. So presented a challenge for making food.
Okay, and so first day you go in, the weather's not great. What happens?
And we had a little wind and a little rain.
Yeah,
That put the river up just a little bit. It was probably about 3 foot high over normal. So that made the first challenge at Clabber Creek Shoal pretty difficult. It was definitely a portage. I mean, you can't go through it even in normal water. But yeah, when the river goes up, it makes it harder.
What about for setting camp?
yeah. The weather really, the biggest challenge there is we're hunting in a national forest that doesn't have a lot of break
Yeah.
in foliage, right? So it's almost entirely forested, very few open areas, and so roosting and locating turkeys becomes the name of the game because
Yeah.
you don't have a turkey to hunt, you don't have a turkey on. And so when we get weather in the night before, it just complicates matters. The river sits about 700 to 800 feet below the top of the ridge line. Those turkeys are typically moving up top, and so
That's right.
you don't want to spend your day constantly going
Hiking up and down. Yeah.
Once you get up top, you want to spend the day up there, and so you got to be really efficient with your time. You also got to decide in the very first part of the day what side of the river do you want to hunt, because it's not easy to go back and forth across the river, and it's a wilderness area on both sides. So weather complicates locating turkeys. You've got to kind of roll with the punches on that. Weather typically brings high winds on the back end of it too, so you're going to be dealing with that. Those are the two biggest problems that we run into.
It was a little warm and humid too.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
So it was
really
like a
uncomfortable.
combination of like not great when you first got in.
Yeah, it was
90-degree days.
Yeah, 80 or 90 with 90% humidity. I mean, you could chew the air.
What is the landscape like in there?
Well, I mean, the hills are tall. I mean, like James says, the tops of the peaks are about 800 or 900 feet.
Yeah, it's made up of large limestone bluffs, towering limestone bluffs, some of which are, the average is about 300 to 400 feet above the water level. But regularly it's 600-700 feet of elevation. But rolling terrain, you're hunting in the Ozark Mountains.
Yeah.
And so that in and of itself brings some kind of unique challenges. The nice part of it is the inhospitability of the area means that you're not going to run into a lot of other hunters.
Right.
We didn't
Which is
on
key for
our
us,
trip.
yeah.
Yeah.
Vast majority of the people that are going to access that, they're either going to be on the river or they're going to be on horseback. They're not going to be hunting. So
Yeah.
it's the beauty of it is you get 10 to 20,000 acres of your own that you can carve out. You're not going to see anybody else while you're there. And so it's super accessible for people. Anybody can go buy an over-the-counter tag, can go get a canoe and paddle in there. It's
Just
a neat
nice
place.
thing about Arkansas, you don't have to do a draw or anything like that. You just buy tag.
But but it is tough. Like you've got to be somebody who wants the adventure of it and needs to be able to like stick it out in the
Oh yeah.
middle of nowhere.
Yeah, no,
you gotta be ready to
absolutely.
be tired, sore, and hungry. You know.
Oh yeah, it's very much even though you're not getting that same elevation, right, that you would at an elk hunt in Colorado. James is right. I mean, Matt's right. You're hearing the turkeys down at the water line. You've got to go 800 feet up, and then if you're not being able to bring them in, you've got to drop back down, go down the river a little bit, and find another one and go back up again.
So-
yeah, so it's
So if you wanted to be up top for fly down, for example,
Yeah.
you got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30, eat something, and then do an hour and a half walk uphill just to get into the roost area.
Are you wearing hiking boots or are you wearing snake boots?
Both.
Both.
Yeah, and it depends on what the day looks like. I mean, certainly when we're paddling in, we're wearing those. Seth made the decision that he was going to wear knee boots for the entire 7 days
yes.
that we were there. And I'm sure the trench foot back into that was awful.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
But wait, wasn't there you were smart though, weren't you? Because wasn't there a snake encounter?
Well, there was a snake encounter in camp. Luckily we weren't there, but we had a camp manager with us that would help us, with Matt's water filtration system, you constantly have to be on top of that.
Dump
Yeah.
some footage, DIT,
Dumping footage,
that
all
kind
that kind of
stuff.
stuff. Yeah. So he was the one that had this snake encounter.
What happens?
How did old Mudbug put it? He was sitting in camp filtering water, and he sees something move, and he looks, and it's probably a 4-foot rattlesnake. So he jumps up out of this camp chair, and he takes his handgun and he empties his handgun at this snake, misses every single time. And so the snake then, in terror, slithers into James's tent. And so
He's like, this is so much worse.
for sure, yeah. And so he's kicking at the tent, everything else. The snake slithers out, goes over to my tent, and Cameron, our camp manager,
Keep in mind, he's got a shotgun sitting there the entire
right
time.
there, he's got plenty of ammo. And instead of taking that, I guess maybe it's nice he didn't use the shotgun, because the snake went over to my tent. Cameron grabbed a hiking pole and beat the snake to death with it, but put a massive hole in my
Oh, no. But was that the only night that it rained before?
Well, no. So luckily that was the second to last night. Yeah, we were second last night or so. So we were kind of on our way out.
But you got
Still, it
bugs
was-
probably in that night.
You know what? When you're there for
You're like,
7 days, it's like,
whatever,
yeah, whatever. Everything stinks.
Second last night, you're like exhausted. Everything hurts.
Yeah, for sure. But circling back on the boots, so I wore those new Shin knee-high boots.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic. I was nervous about that, right? I mean,
They were good.
Rubber boots in the terrain that we're in. But I was like, you know what? Let's just go full send on this and see how it is. And probably why I wouldn't necessarily choose to do it again, just from a stability of your ankle kind of.
Yeah.
I did slip and fall once, but that wasn't the boots' fault. That was me stepping on some gravel that I shouldn't have stepped on.
Yeah.
They were awesome boots.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got this zipper on them, goes all the way down to
But
the
going up
ankle,
and
but-
down hills, there's a reason why you wear hikers, is because they hold your foot
for sure.
together.
And
yeah.
I mean, when I put those on, it did. I mean, it was like a Western boot. It just hugged my foot. And I didn't have any problems with it. Like, getting them off at the end of the day, I mean, it was hot. And
Did they get burned at the end of the trip?
they didn't. I was thinking that would happen. Like, because there's really no way for anything the humidity is so high.
Yeah.
Something gets sweaty, nothing dries.
Yeah.
And so you're just piling on top of that and you do. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you think a pair of rubber boots are going to get really nasty.
Yeah.
These didn't. And
That's
I
good.
was massively impressed by that. And I mean, they didn't smell like a clean boot at the end of the day, but like they weren't as bad as like, the t-shirt I was wearing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good. I would definitely wear them again. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so let's get into. I want to go back to the humidity thing as well, because I know when you're a camera guy, that can be its own set of challenges as well, just the lens fogging up and stuff. But once you've got into camp, the first night, I'm assuming that was kind of like a complete miss for roosting because of the weather. So the next day, you're just getting up and you're just walking and listening, or what's the?
Yeah, freelancing off the roost. Yeah.
Yeah, we're running and gunning, chasing gobblers that we're hearing. Seth and I did go out and do a scout trip 3 weeks before
Gotcha.
we actually went hunting. So we had an idea about where the birds were kind of hanging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And
but
were they there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about that scout trip, though, is the day that Matt and I got off the river, they got an inch or two of rain,
Yeah.
and the river level increased 18 to 20 feet. And so when we were coming in, we had no idea if our campsite was still there, because we had
Wow.
it pre-planned.
So you've really got to prepare for where you camp and make sure that, okay, you have to be slightly elevated for sure. Otherwise, could be terrible.
Very much elevated. Flash flooding is a big deal on the Buffalo River, and you got to take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Buffalo's an undammed river, so there's no way to regulate that water level if they get a massive amount of, even an inch of rain doesn't sound like a massive amount, but when you combine that over the whole thing, it raises the river level 20 to.
We lose a paddler every other year on the Buffalo due to
Really?
ice and water. Yeah, that's a unfortunately a somewhat regular occurrence on that river. Not every year, but every several years we tend to lose somebody on that river. So
Even people that are well seasoned.
that's right. Yeah, they just get in tight spots. They paddle into places they shouldn't,
Yeah.
or when they shouldn't.
The
Yeah.
thing is, you got to remember it's remote, and if you're out there already, you're probably not going to know that a wall of water is coming
Yeah.
downriver from behind you, because it could have rained, 3 counties over, and then that wall comes
Push.
down.
Yeah.
So you would have no expectation that the river was going to suddenly rise 7 to 8 feet, which it does.
Turkeys. So what was the goal on how many birds you were trying to take home?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question. So Matt and I have been hunting together a long time, and we don't really kind of think of it, I think, in terms of the total number of turkeys. Now, Arkansas has a 1 bird limit today, and so that kind of makes it pretty straightforward, right? But even on past trips when we're there, we're really only after 1 bird each is what I would say. And we've kind of gotten to the point too where I don't think it matters who shoots that bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
If
kind of
it's the right setup.
yeah, just like fooling them, And so, but that's kind of the goal. Now, Arkansas as a whole has had a lot of problems with turkey populations over the last 5 years.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't think that they have a really good handle on that. I think it's probably a variety of factors, but the state Game and Fish Agency, they've moved a lot of stuff around to try to take some pressure off of birds in certain areas. One of the things that we did that was really important to us on this trip is we contacted the biologist for the Buffalo River prior to us going there to kind of understand what were bird populations doing. Are they stable? Are they growing?
Yeah.
Do we want to bring additional exposure to a place that may already be depressed in numbers? Right. And so they gave us a full set and they were like, nope, nobody goes back in there. Bird numbers are great. And so, and we experienced that. It wasn't that we had a lack of turkeys on that trip. We had some challenging conditions that made it hard to get on them. That season, they moved it back later in the year. Yeah. That foliage is a lot thicker now because it's later in the season. Hard to call them in. So, and when you add the camera component, we weren't going to shoot another bird and have it be off camera. And so you've got to kind of work those two. There's kind of a, you know that. There's a give and take there. And so, but really it's more than just how many turkeys can you find and shoot. It's, can we keep pace with the river? Can we keep moving in a way? Because you can't just paddle out in one day. Yeah. So you got to keep moving. You got to be able to pick up camp. And then can we get back to places that we love that we've previously visited? Yeah. The AV farm there's an old farm named the AV farm is where we like to hunt for part of that trip. We had hunted there and had prior experiences on that farm. Yeah. Before they call it a farm, it's not developed today, but getting back to trees that, you know how it is. You have a tree that you know. And you want to get back to that tree. Yeah. Or you want to get back to a certain spot that overlooks the river because I got a photo from there from 7 years ago or whatever that is. And so just finding places that are really wild and knowing somebody else probably isn't going to stand there for a while. It's pretty special.
So if you guys were like, what would you say if you had to do it again or anybody was watching this and wanted to go and do it themselves? What were some of the mistakes that you guys made the second time around that you would redo? And then what advice would you give just in general for preparing for that?
Yeah, you'll take too much stuff. That's a rule for everybody on any backcountry.
Yeah, absolutely.
You pack a bunch of stuff and you use like a third of it.
Yeah.
Because of all the what ifs, you do the what if game the night before you leave. And so you pack too much stuff. That's one thing. The other thing too is I would make sure that you don't take yourself too seriously. That's a long trip and that's a long way out on that river. And so go with people that you have a foxhole camaraderie with, right? That you want to spend time with, that are good friends. It's amazing to me. Everybody has personal problems on day 3 on a backcountry hunt, right? And like they got reasons that they got to leave and they got to go home and they can't keep going. And we've all been there, right? And so find people that you really want to be with and that you want to spend that amount of time with so that you don't hate it by the time that you come out of it. But I will say the probably the most important thing is have your navigation figured out. That's going to give you the confidence to go deeper than you would on any other type of hunt. It's going to give you the confidence to explore new parts of that forest and get really far away from camp because you're going to get into a lot of birds. You're just going to keep moving. Yeah. Right. So navigation, take a little bit fewer stuff. Yeah. Don't drink dirty water.
What navigation devices were you using? Was it Onyx or Onyx? Okay.
Yeah. Onyx, we had Garmin's as a backup, and I'm old school. Compass and a map, I'm real comfortable with. Yeah. So that's not going to be a problem for me.
Yeah, compass and a map. It's challenging using a compass and a map. It is. You can get backward.
Sometimes vintage maps will show you trails that used to exist. Yeah. That new items won't have. And those are great places to hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're using your brain again. It's always a good skill to have that skill set. Okay, so what else? What do you think that you didn't do correctly this time, or not that you might do differently next time, apart from the packing?
Was there anything?
Oh, I got one. If you got one.
Well, you can't drink enough water.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, a gallon a day just isn't cutting it. It is so hot. It is so.
Bring hydration and like
Oh yeah.
6.
Oh yeah. We had all the stuff.
It's
And
still
you
got
can't-
dehydrated.
You're so cramped up after day 3 or 4.
80 degree,
Oh.
humid. Yeah.
Don't camp on a spot. Like, be ready to move, and like you can hunt out because you're tied to the river.
Like,
every
don't
night.
set your expectations on a house. Like, this is not our home.
Yeah.
Like, be ready to
well,
move.
and more importantly, like, that's a long river. There's a lot of places to hunt. Once you float past some place, it's really hard to go back to it, right? Because river
Right.
goes.
If you
one
like,
direct-
get out. Yeah.
Yeah, so be willing to move. Like, have confidence in the river. The next spot's just as good as this one. And we find that we always linger a day too long on a spot because it's working, and then we pick up and we move 2 miles downriver. It's like, I wish we had done this the day before. It's like,
Kind of like with deer hunting, though, isn't it? You like you've seen like
First
a
sit, best
shooter go past on the first day, and then you're like, don't see anything else for 4 days, and he might come back again.
Sure.
And then you're like, I should have left it like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
This sucks.
first sit, best sit, always.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I think from a camera guy perspective, it's really easy for us to, really get into what James was saying about taking too much stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always like, regardless of what hunt I'm on, even if it's like an outfitted hunt and you're at a cabin, whatever, I'm always tweaking a setup,
Yeah.
And I think as camera guys, sometimes we can overcomplicate that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it really just makes it harder on yourself. I remember once I was carrying 3 V-mount batteries.
Yeah.
I didn't need 3 V-mount batteries. I needed the one on the camera and one extra in my pack.
Yeah.
So it's like by day 3, I'm not carrying all those batteries.
It's a lot of weight.
Right, let's go ahead and put that in. So I think really just kind of as you continue, just like hunting, as you continue to do more and more and more, you continue to like make little tweaks here, make little tweaks there. I do this with hunts too, but like go back and look through and it's like, well, I never took that out. I never took that out of the case. So unless it's a critical piece of gear, like a set of screwdrivers or something,
Yeah.
that's, that maybe we can do without that next time.
Yeah.
Or something really just kind of continuing to dial in those gear lists.
Okay. Lastly, like, what were the items like knives and things like that you guys brought that were like staples?
So Weatherby was great to send us a couple
Yeah,
shots.
we would be remiss not to talk about our shotguns. We shot that new Weatherby last year, that Sorex gun, the Italian shotgun, and it's a dream.
Yep.
Really, really lightweight, easy to handle gun. We shoot 20s at just about everything.
Yeah, me
just
too.
about
That's
everything.
what we do. What shells? TSS?
Fiocchi. Yeah, we shoot Fiocchi TSS. Those shells are all hand loaded in Ozark, Missouri. So shout out back home.
Nice.
Love being able to support the guys up the street. They got really good people over there running that brand that are friends of ours. And so couldn't say enough nice things about them. Winona does a great job on the boat. That's a big part of
For sure.
paddling culture and what we do. And so those are really, I mean, that and Shin was awesome.
And were you wearing was Shin for the hunting apparel? Like what? Yeah.
Yeah, we were wearing Shin apparel while we were there.
What vest?
What that the mesh thing was even the prototype.
Yeah, everything we had was a year early. So
was it their turkey vest?
we weren't wearing, they didn't have the vest out yet for us because we were
That
still
leaf
early.
suit though.
But we did wear the leaf suit.
Okay.
Really, really light.
Amazing.
Yeah, get it a size large so you can layer it,
Yeah.
over everything else.
Did you have vests at all?
Say that again.
Did you bring vests at all?
Yeah, I brought a strap vest.
Oh,
a
one-
Woodsman vest from
yeah.
Osseo.
Yeah. Nice.
So, yeah, I mean that's what we do, and we I run a Woodhaven call. You run a variety of custom calls that you've put together over the years. I mean, yeah.
In terms of like calling a bird, how do you just kind of let it flow naturally when one person feels like it, or is there like a leader, or how does this work with you guys?
We've developed some routines that have had success. James is now standing caller. He does the mouth calling. I don't like to use diaphragm calls all that much. But yeah, we have combinations that we do that we think are really effective. So
Sit and yap at each other.
Yeah, sit and yap at each other.
yeah, start a hen fight between ourselves.
I love it.
That's right. That's right.
Get it nosy. All right, and have you guys? So when does the film come out?
So it's live today.
Live now?
Went live yesterday. It's
Amazing.
on Field and Stream's YouTube channel.
Okay.
You check it out there. Love to hear from you. Leave a comment there, and we'll we'll fire one back at you.
And if people have any questions about like what to do if they want to go after it, they can just message you guys on there.
Yep. Comment right on the Field and Stream video and interact with us there, and we'll be happy to give you any information that you need. We would love to help anybody take this same trip. So
Okay.
feel free to reach out to us.
It's a real adventure. If you have that bug in you, I recommend it. The buffalo is incredible. It's beautiful, and if you can combine it with something else you really love, like turkey hunting, it's all the better.
Oh, I have one more question. Did you guys eat any turkey when you're in camp?
We couldn't have a fire.
Oh, you can't have a fire. That's
Burn
a good
ban.
question.
Yeah, we had a burn ban while we were.
Ban.
Yeah, so we got that turkey on ice. In fact, that was the first thing that we did after shooting that turkey. We had that turkey on ice within an hour and had to split up.
So
because
you
it was
carried it
hot.
cooler with full of ice in. Smart. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a burn ban at the time. So that's an important thing for people to be checking on before they go and do it as well, because you can get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
if your cook system depends on fire, you'd be
Yeah.
up a creek.
And one other thing that's worth mentioning is, remember, that's a national park. So it's not just state regulations that you have to pay attention to. You got to pay attention to the feds as
Yeah,
well.
and so taking anything you bring in, take it all out. No leaving
Absolutely.
trash, none of that stuff.
100%,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And we
Lovely.
actually took some time doing that as we were coming out. Did a little fishing and things like that. And anytime we'd stop, we were making sure we were picking up some extra trash and things like that. Trying to just leave it better than you
It's
fish.
a bear area, so you got to be bear aware, whole 9 yards.
Okay, so did you bring like spray or anything, or were you just pistols?
They're black bears.
Oh, yeah.
we brought Weatherby shotguns.
Yeah,
Really?
shut up.
Bigger
I just
problem with
tripped him and outrun him. So
I see where we're at.
I love it. Well, guys, the Buffalo River Project is out now on Field and Stream YouTube. Go and check it out. Drop the guys a line if you've got any questions or comments. And please share with your friends and let them know about it too. Thank you guys so much for stopping and having a chat.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
Thank you.
awesome.
New Field and Stream pack provisions, dog food, treats, and supplements fuel your dog's focus, strength, and stamina for your next outdoor adventure. Because your dog works hard and their food should too. Load up on Field and Stream pack provisions at Tractor Supply or learn more at packprovisionspet.com.
Oh, yeah, I think she likes it.
Field and Stream Pack Provisions dog food. Guide rated, adventure ready.
Wake up and smell the country just swinging like a steel guitar. Yeah, it's been twanging like a tillin, a picking like a chicken, rolling like a train coming home. Wake up and smell the country, oh, can't you hear the country song?
We are back with Mo Pitney. It's so fitting to have you here, Mo, because you were here for our very first show.
Absolutely.
When we were on the other side of the curtain.
Yeah.
And the attendance of the show, this was 5 years ago, was like 50,000.
Wow.
And now we're at 84,000 last year. So I'm expecting this to be maybe 90,000 this year.
Wow.
And you had just said before we were on camera, it never ceases to amaze me. What do you think? We're here, like...
I mean, I just explained this to a guy at my record label. I says, I'm heading to this event. And he goes, what's that? I said, I can't believe you don't know about it. I said, go drive by the mall. I said, there's just an insane amount of people that fill up this building. You would not believe how many people are wearing camouflage shirts at the Opryland Hotel. But it never ceases to amaze me when I'm out here playing music or doing anything to look at all these people crammed in here, sweating just to get the latest and greatest turkey hunting.
And it just feels like home. Like it feels like just great community, everybody, like our people, you know?
Absolutely. And I think your booth is really cool in that you bring the music element to what's going on. Your vision for country outdoors here is really cool. To bring the outdoors, good community, and then also country music, which seems to be the art form that explains all of those things in song.
For sure. Now, I want to catch up with you. Last time we caught up, we were talking about Rahab House. Since then, you asked me to join the board, which I have accepted, and I'm so excited about that. Let's talk about what's going on with Rahab House at the moment and then some of the goals for the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, we're all excited that you'd be a part of Rahab House. It's got everybody feeling like there's fresh blood in what's happening and some new excitement. But the things that we have ahead is we have our home, our construction project is now finished. We have 3 bedrooms and 4 beds in this home, which is the goal to house and help restore victims of human trafficking. This is our refuge home, which is the time period between their time on the street and their long-term solution, which would be a 3-year care program, 2 or 3 year care program. This will be a 1 to 90 day home. And we've helped 1 woman through the house, but we're really realizing our need for 2 or 3 full-time staff. And so our next steps is to draw attention and the funds that we need in order to make that step with 3 staff members all at one time to start overseeing the house. Our goal is to do that within the next 3 months, and it looks like the trajectory of our income is going to make that possible. But anyone that's listening out there, just sharing and getting the word out about what we're doing will speed up that process.
Perfect. And if people want to support Rahab House, they can go to rahabhouse.com or DM Mo Pitney or myself, and we'll direct you to what to do in the next steps.
That is right. And we would love your guys' prayers and support. You can go on rahabhouse.com and even sign up for a monthly email list if you want a more in-detail update about what we're doing.
Perfect. Now, spring is around the corner. We're at NWTF Convention. Let's talk turkey hunting. When was your first turkey hunt?
My first turkey hunt was not until I moved to Nashville, and I was invited by Jimmy Fortune from the Statler Brothers and Jim Ed Brown, both two artists that I was starstruck by, and they invited me to turkey hunt. And I used Jim Ed Brown's gun and Jimmy Fortune's turkey call, and I called in a bird my first morning that came out behind me, and I wasn't able to get a shot, but just the fact that my scratching around on a slate call made a turkey come in, it just absolutely undid me, and I was hooked for life. It wasn't until the next year I was working on my dad's house that he's now living in, and I heard a turkey gobble from the roof, and I got my shotgun and the call that I was borrowing from Jimmy Fortune and walked in the woods and called at the bird for about 2 hours until he came in and got my first bird the next year, and I've just been hooked ever since.
And so one of your daughters, well, are they both natural calling?
Yeah, so they can both call from their mouth and make birds gobble, which is amazing. My daughter's gotten 3 turkeys now. She's 9. And my middle daughter came inches from killing her first bird last year. So number 1 goal of the new year is to get Audra a bird, obviously to get Eveline, my oldest, another bird. I'm sure my wife would like to get one. And if I have time, after all those birds have been killed, I'm going to try to kill one with my longbow this year, which is really exciting.
I love it. And guys, if you want to learn more about that, you can go to our episode on Country Outdoors Podcast with Field and Stream, and Mo goes into the whole reason why he picked up a longbow and his whole hunting journey and story and everything like that. Okay, before you leave, I want to know, what is your favorite wild turkey recipe or like go-to for spring?
Yeah, so my wife loves to take them and wrap them in cooking twine into little footballs and put them on the Traeger grill and smoke them for multiple hours. And so she has a brine and recipe that I could probably help her put together if she told me where everything was, but I can't name it off to you right now, but she does a great job at making that.
Okay, perfect. Let's get that recipe and we'll make it available when this episode drops.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
She can connect you to it.
Perfect. And is there anything on the show floor that you're trying to check out today, Mo?
I don't have anything in mind. This is my first stop here, and I just like to meander around. I've got some friends here that I want to say hey to, but mostly I try to get out of here without spending too much money. So if I get focused on anything, I get in trouble when I get home.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mo Pitney. Guys, you can go and check out Mo's tour days. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that, but quickly before you leave. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got a new record coming out, which is exciting, starting March 27th. I got a song, Wake Up and Smell the Country, that's being released with Jake Worthington, so keep your eye on that. And then throughout the entire year, you can go to mopitney.com and see our country tour dates. And then also in the midst of that, you'll see something called Pitney Meyer, which is a bluegrass collaboration that I travel to bluegrass festivals and play with my best friend, John Meyer. So if you like the banjo, you can follow those tour dates. And if you like country music, you can follow just the Mo Pitney country tour dates at mopitney.com or pitneymeyer.com. And don't forget to go to rahabhouse.com and
Perfect.
And all of that. So.
Amazing.
And Wood Feathers and Fur. So we have an outdoor channel on YouTube, Wood Feathers and Fur, that's starting to show all of our outdoor lifestyle stuff. Taking my kids hunting with the longbow and all of that. And I'd love it if you guys would stop by there as well.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mo Pitney.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Glad to be here.
Since 1973, the National Wild Turkey Federation has been working tirelessly to conserve the wild turkey and to preserve our hunting heritage. Today, the need for hunters to get involved is just as important as the wild turkey is facing declines, and the continuation of our outdoor pursuits are at risk in many parts of the country. Visit NWTF.org and join for just $35 to leave a lasting legacy that will help conserve wildlife and unite a nation through life-changing power of the outdoors.
Somewhere wild, somewhere wild.
And we are back. It is NWTF Convention. I'm here with Hunter Girl, who absolutely, you just killed it.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
I've never seen you live before, so like that was insane. And it's always cool when you see someone whose vocals are just as good live as what they are, you know, on a track.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
That was insane. Tell me about that Redbird song.
Yeah, so I wrote that song, I guess 4 years ago now. And cardinals have always been a big part of my life because my mom and my grandmother would always say whenever I saw a cardinal, it meant somebody was watching over you. And it's like, oh, that's my great granny, that's my grandpa. And so anytime I saw a cardinal, I was like, it's going to be a good day today. And I knew I always wanted to write a song about it. We called them redbirds back home.
Yeah.
Which was good because there's not a lot of rhymes for cardinal.
Yeah. Redbird. So Drake White told me the rhyme like redbird, please fly right, send a big buck in my sight or something. That's the thing that his granddaddy told him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Well, that was amazing. So NWTF.
Yes.
How many times have you been here?
Gosh, I've been coming here since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Like I remember running around the convention hall and just like enjoying everything, hearing all the duck calls till like 1 a.m. in the morning. I was sitting in the room with mom and dad and I could just hear them out the window.
Because your dad works for, I'm going to get this right, NRCS.
Yes, NRCS.
Which is?
National Resource Conservation Service.
Yeah, okay. And he has a booth somewhere here as well. Tell us about your first turkey hunt.
Oh my gosh. I remember whenever I went was with my dad and we were on my pa's land. And I remember waking up and going there and like my dad always made the thermos of Swiss Miss hot chocolate and then made the coffee for himself whenever we get out and hunt every day. And so I'd look forward to it. And I remember there with my daddy and he was like, you got to be quiet. You can't move a lot. And that's hard for me because I never stopped talking. Could you imagine me as a kid? But I remember whenever it happened, it was so special and so cool, and just like the early morning and that piece that comes with the early morning and getting to share that with my dad and turkey hunt with my dad was awesome.
Does your grandpa still have that land?
Yes, yeah.
Same land?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever gone and hunted with him?
I haven't hunted a lot with Pa, because he kind of whenever he started getting older, he was like, I just want to work on stuff.
Yeah.
So he's in the working phase of his life where he's fiddling with things and he's raising honeybees right now. But I always hunted with my daddy growing up.
I love it. What are your plans for the spring?
Oh my gosh, shows are coming up. New music on the horizon.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, so new song coming out very, very soon.
Okay.
And it's a little different than what I've done in the past. It's more of like an angry country girl song.
Okay, I love it. Is it like towards anyone in particular?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always, yes.
We will name him Mr. X.
Mr. X, that's so hilarious.
I love it. And when that's coming out?
March 6th.
March 6th. Yeah. Okay, amazing. All right. So tell us about being a little girl growing up in Tennessee and what life was like for you.
Oh my gosh, growing up, I'm from Winchester, Tennessee. It's about an hour and a half from Nashville, and just growing up in the country was just such a big thing for me. Like I remember running through the woods with my cousins, and my pa had made this spot called the Wilderness beside the house, and that's where we'd go every day after school, and he just go run out and do whatever you want. And whenever I was back home, finding like little campfires we'd made, and like where the stones were still there, and like the old tree house, and just it felt like anything could happen out there, and it was all fun all the time, and just building things. And I just loved that as a kid because it let my imagination run.
Yeah.
And
and for you as well, being an artist on the road and just being so full steam, I would think that like still being able to go and hunt is that release for you.
Yeah, it's just like this sense of peace and getting to be outside and just getting to watch the sunrise. Like I would like whenever I see a bird cross of the sky, and I'm like, I'm in nature. I am one with nature.
I love it. And so you've been coming to this show for a long time.
Yeah.
Have you like it's just grown so much since I've been coming. What was it like? Do you remember what it was like when you were younger? What it looked like?
Oh my gosh, I don't think there was this many people. I remember, like, I was like parking here earlier today. I was like, I know we got to get here an hour early, and I'm like running through. I see people shaking their heads out there, like, yeah, parking was nuts.
Oh, what was it like though as a little girl coming to these shows?
Well, getting to come to these shows was always so fun. It was like our little vacation in February. You know, everybody thinks the second week of February is Valentine's Day, but for me as a kid, I was like, it's NWTF Convention.
So my husband and I say that too. I don't think we've had like a Valentine's Day in the last like 5 or 6 years that has not been here. My producer's shaking his head and he's like, yeah, but his first Valentine's married is here and his wife got sick before coming down.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, let's talk about the hunting community and what you love about the hunting and country music community.
Yeah, like I whenever I was a little girl, I was like, I always want to be in country music. That was my dream as a kid, and getting to be a part of just people that take care of each other. And I think that goes hand in hand with wildlife and just growing up the way that we all did. And like walking out and always knowing somebody has your back. And so, like, if I call anybody, like, well, Lord, if I called you, I'd be like, hey, Mary, I'm stuck somewhere. And you're like, I'll be there in a second. Just give me a minute. And just those like-minded people, just loving the outdoors, loving country music, and getting so much inspiration from being outside and in the wilderness and seeing everything. It's like anytime I walk outside, there's a song waiting on me.
I love it. Okay, and lastly, I had a frog in my throat. You're all For people that it's their first time coming to Nashville, first time coming to the show, you're a pro, you're a veteran now. What are some things that they have to see and do?
Oh my gosh, you have to go to the Opry. It is just the absolute best. It's the mother church of country music. I remember the first time I walked in there, I cried like a baby.
And you do it every time, Stu.
I know, yeah.
So go to the Opry, okay, and then at the show.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, you need to, I would say definitely see Broadway and see all those bars. Go to Midtown, get to see that. Country Music Hall of Fame is awesome. I'm trying to think of snackies. Do you have any like go-to places here in Nashville?
Places that I like to go, well, you know, it's all changed since I had a little girl. Pre-kid, I'd say Midtown.
Yeah, Midtown.
I'd go to Broadway, Winners and Losers and all of that stuff. And now I'm like more into kind of the restaurants and stuff like that. So Jimmy Kelly's is a good steakhouse that I like to go to.
That one's really good.
Well South, they've got some good ice cream shops.
Valentino's is the best Italian restaurant. I love that. I live for it.
Yeah.
Like when I want to feel super fancy, get my fancy clothes on and eat something, that's where I'm going.
Okay. And before we finish up, turkey season, I've already asked you this before, but for people that haven't heard, what is like your go-to tradition the night before and then morning of when you're getting ready for turkey season for a hunt?
Oh my gosh. I would say getting everything in order, like always packing my snack pack.
What's in the snack pack?
Well, my dad would always make us like little venison sandwiches and put American cheese on them, and like we had snacks for days. My dad never went out without a snack. And getting the snack pack ready, getting the coffee ready, getting the hot chocolate ready, and Lord, getting some sleep before, because getting up early in the morning, I'm like, here we go. So I'm probably going to bed at like 6 o'clock.
Would you have to be woken up, or would you be like up and ready?
Oh no, yeah, my dad was like, get up, you gotta get up right now. I'm like, Dad, what's going on? I'm like, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
And now it's the same, except it's like 12 o'clock in the day because you're playing until 3 in the morning.
Oh, I'm like, this is the complete opposite of my schedule, Dad.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, thank you again, Hunter Girl, and thank you so much for stopping by. Cheers.
Here I am, I'm waiting for you, can't ignore your word no more, Lord. And here am I'll take the knife to kill my pride and yoke, provide through Jesus Christ. Here am I.
Now, this morning, I've got William Toll with us. He is a Christian folk.
Yeah, I would say so.
artist.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into
with
that. Who I saw on social media. I absolutely love the music that he was putting out, and I thought, you know what, this is a great way to kick off the show, because we're just going to welcome the Holy Spirit in here and really set the pace for what this brand is about, the music that we love, and really what we live and strive to, you know, glorify with all that we do. So, William, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and that was a really fun 30-minute set to be able to come in here and play a little bit. So thanks for having me.
Great. So I first found you on social media with that song, Here I Am. And I want to get into kind of, how you got into creating this style of music. I talk to my friends about this a lot at the moment, but it feels like there's a really big revival happening in Nashville in the country music space. And so it's very refreshing to see. But where did you grow up originally?
Originally, I grew up in New England, so bouncing around from Vermont, Connecticut, that area. So I had an affinity for folk music from radio play, from Mumford and Sons, and I just went all the way down the rabbit hole to Bob Dylan and everything. And so it's always been part of my heart. But then I moved. I eventually was in Montana, Bozeman, Montana. Lived there for a while, and then came down to Nashville for music.
So firstly, what brought you to Bozeman?
Family. My brother lives out there.
Okay.
But the outdoors, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
You cannot beat the big sky country.
Yeah.
And so my brother's a big elk hunter.
Yeah.
And
You look like a fly fisherman.
I've dabbled a little bit.
What is your thing, like snowboarding and?
I would say yeah.
Okay.
The snow sports.
I get that vibe from you as well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then when did you move to Nashville?
2021.
Yeah.
Tail end of COVID times.
Yeah, and then when did you start creating Christian folk and like discovering your sound, I guess?
Yeah, so I started releasing music in 2021, and it was folky, it was, but then the Lord kind of convicted my heart to just be more authentic with what I'm going through in my faith, and just started to be more, I guess, authentic in my lyrics. But none of the musical aesthetic changed. So I've always loved making folk music, but I started to just integrate God into the process and into the lyrics, and I started reaching a big Christian audience, and I found out that there are a lot of Christians who are folk-loving people who want to hear that style of music, of a Zach Bryan or a Noah Kahn or a Lumineers, but from a distinctly Christian worldview. So I kind of stepped into that and found an audience. I've been doing it ever since.
Did you find that like once you started giving God the glory, then like the music just kind of rolled from there?
Yeah.
Popularity in it?
I did. And like, it says, the Bible says, like, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. And so it's not like I was thinking, if I start
do this,
exactly, yeah. But yeah, that's how it worked out. I just decided to start writing that way, and God provided a much bigger platform as a result.
That's awesome. Were there any particular instances that the conviction, like stories on things that happened?
I think I started falling in with the folk Christian crowd. So there were a few artists that God had happened to put in my life, and they were in the genre, distinctly just folk music, but just from a distinct Christian worldview. And I was like, I want to write that way too, so guys like Jimmy Clifton, Haddon, and Ian Austin, who aren't like very well-known figures, but if you're like a Christian folk fan, you might know those guys.
Yeah.
I went on a couple like camping, hiking trips with them. We just became good friends, and so at that point, it seemed like God was kind of pulling on my heart in that direction more.
Yeah. Okay, so we're here at NWTF Convention. Is this your first year?
My first year ever.
Okay, what do you think?
I love it. The energy is great. A lot of camo. I'm like, I got here and I was like, man, I need a camo hat or something. But I'm like, thank God I wore earth tones. I'm fitting in a little bit. But
no, you're fitting in. We can hook you up with a hat for sure. But yeah, this is, for turkey hunters, this is the Mecca event of the year. It feels like just one big community. No one's above anybody else. It's just the sportsmen and women getting together, celebrating the things that we love. And no, it's a really good time. Have you been turkey hunting before?
I've never been turkey hunting before, no.
Okay. Would you like to go turkey hunting? Have you any interest?
Is this an invitation?
Maybe, yeah.
I would love to try it, no doubt. How does it work?
So you call a turkey in.
Yeah.
So there's, as you can hear, if you listen right now,
That's a box call. Somebody's
Okay.
playing on a box call. There's
You've got a good ear.
Yes. Well, I actually do. That's funny.
Yeah.
My husband and I did a hearing test. His sucks because he shot guns his whole life, and mine's like perfect. But I have bad eyesight, and he has good eyesight. So together we're like the perfect
That's
human.
perfect. That's perfect.
But yeah, so you'll hear all these calls going around. There's mouth calls, there's box calls, there's trumpets, there's slate calls, there's all different types of calls. For you as a musician, you'd probably pick up on learning how to use one pretty easily because you've got that musical like instillment already. But it's pretty cool because you have to hide, obviously, and then you call to the animal, you call to the turkey, and then if they like the sound of it, they gobble, or sometimes they come in without a gobble and scare you, but like you're like speaking their language.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's similar to elk. That's the one category I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Because my brother's a big elk hunter out in Bozeman.
They say turkey hunting is like, it's like the bird equivalent of elk. If you like to turkey hunt,
okay.
you'll love to elk hunt and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank
Yeah.
you. I hope you enjoyed the show. You'll have to go and check everything out, but
Yes.
it's been a pleasure, and thank you for kicking off the show with us here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, William.